Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. The secret is finally out. Kalonzo Musyoka and Edwin Sifuna's game plan for 2027 has finally leaked. And the man behind that game plan is none other than Uhuru Kenyatta. And the question which most Kenyans are asking, will Uhuru Kenyatta manage to revenge against William Ruto in 2027? Because you all know that after William Ruto defeated a combined force of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta has been on a mission of revenging. But again, something is also very clear, that the 2027 politics is already taking shape. And we can conveniently say that there is a constant somewhere, which is William Ruto. William Ruto will be on the ballot. But the formation William Ruto is going to use will also be dependent on very many factors. So far, it is clear that William Ruto is likely to retain Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki as his running mate in 2027. And I want to bank on that. So on the other side, we have Ruto and Kindiki. But ODM are also pushing for the position of the running mate. I don't want to bank on that. But because William Ruto is depending fully on the support of Raila Odinga, I'm also sure whether the ODM brigades will be able to twist him. If they will succeed, then we might have William Ruto either with Oburu Odinga as the running mate, or William Ruto with Gladys Wanga as the running mate, or even William Ruto with the Joho as the running mate. But I can only bet on William Ruto, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki ticket. And that is the ticket which Uhuru Kenyatta is hoping to defeat. And Uhuru Kenyatta is hoping to defeat that ticket through various strategies, which I'm not going to get into right now. But let us look at the formation on the other side, because in this video, I'm going to focus on Kalonzo Sifuna ticket. The first formation which is likely to emerge from the opposition is Kalonzo Sifuna. And because it's going to form the basis of this analysis, let me not dwell on it. Then there is another formation which is also likely to emerge. That is Matiang'i Kalonzo ticket. That ticket is also being pushed by Uhuru Kenyatta, because there is a feeling that Edwin Sifuna might actually run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in 2027. And if Sifuna were to run for the presidency, of course, Kalonzo must be on the ballot, but Uhuru can persuade Kalonzo to support Matiang'i. That's something which is in the works. So the other formation which is there is Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential candidate with Matiang'i. This is the formation which is being pushed by Rigathi Gachagua. If Uhuru Kenyatta is going to buy it, then this is a ticket which is possible. And of course, there is also the remote possibility of Kalonzo Musyoka teaming up with James Orengo as his running mate. Orengo has told his close allies that for him, he's definitely not going back to Siaya, but is planning to be a running mate, or is planning to be a possible presidential candidate. And the last option is James Orengo as a presidential candidate, deputized by Edwin Sifuna, the third force. Ladies and gentlemen, let us forget about those other formations. Let us focus on the Kalonzo Sifuna ticket, because Uhuru Kenyatta's hands are clearly in the Kenya Moja alliance. That's a fact. And even Rigathi Gachagua himself has made it very clear that there are some external forces behind that ticket. So the ticket which is giving William Ruto serious political headache is this ticket of Kalonzo and Edwin Sifuna. By a show of hands in the comment section, let me know if you believe that that ticket is the best, or if you have a different ticket. Please let me read it in the comment section. I'm waiting for your comments before I proceed. Do you think Kalonzo Sifuna ticket is the best, or maybe Kalonzo Matiang'i ticket is the best. I'm waiting to read your comments. Before we go further, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But before I do that again, something happened. Felix Oduor Jalango, the Langata member of parliament, announced that he's going for the Senate. Why do you think Jalango is going for the Senate? Who is pushing Jalango to go for the Senate? Ladies and gentlemen, do you think that's something we can talk about? If you think so, please also in the comment section advise me on what you think about Jalango's candidature for Langata. But the reason why this ticket is giving Ruto serious political headache are as follows. Number one, the game of numbers. Politics is a game of numbers. We all know that in the last election, William Ruto used the tyranny of numbers to craft his winning strategy against Uhuru and Raila. William Ruto knew that with the combined William Ruto knew one thing, that if the mountain were incited against Raila, then they were going to turn up in large numbers. And because they have the numbers, he only needed to consolidate Rift Valley and here and there. And that's exactly what he needs. Unfortunately for William Ruto, in 2027, the mountain will not vote for him the way he had anticipated. So William Ruto is banking on the support of majorly the Loya Nation. Now, how is this ticket of Kalonzo Sifuna now a problem? Sifuna is a lawyer. Kalonzo is a kappa. If Kalonzo is going to be supported by Uhuru and Rigathi, both of them, then I can assure you it's going to be easy for Kalonzo to consolidate Ukambani and also to consolidate the entire mountain. That will be a good start for him. So William Ruto's hope, like I explained, is now in Western and the Luo Nation. If Sifuna is the running mate, if Sifuna now becomes the running mate, what's going to happen is that there's a possibility that that ticket is going to excite the Luo Nation. And the Luo Nation might actually now go with that particular ticket. That's the first possibility. The first possibility. Game of numbers. The lawyer factor and the mountain. If they can vote together, you just need to add the Kamba there. And of course, the rage against William Ruto. And they'll have good numbers. Of course, one thing I know for sure is that William Ruto is also not sitting somewhere waiting for them to plan. He's also planning. Number two, based on the way ODM supporters reacted after Sifuna's removal, I can assure you that Sifuna, if he can sustain the emotions, because Kenyan politics is normally emotional, if he can sustain the emotions, if he can ensure that Babu Owino remains on his side, if he can persuade Orengo to remain with them, because there's a possibility that Orengo might actually bolt out. But if they were to remain together, that is Babu, Sifuna, Orengo, they will go with a good chunk of the ODM support base. Because if Sifuna is running, he will go with the lawyers. Then there is now the ODM strongholds, the Luo Nation, the coastal, northern Kenya, the Gusii, now with Matiang'i. But now the Luos and the coastal might actually follow Babu and Sifuna, even if not half of them. But if that ticket can influence 40% of the ODM to join them, I mean, William Ruto is going to be in serious political trouble. And those are some of the realities. And those are some of the things I'm 100% sure William Ruto is working on. I can assure you, William Ruto is not sitting just waiting for these guys. If there's one thing William Ruto will do, William Ruto is going to ensure that we are going to have Matiang'i on the ballot, we have Kalonzo, and now the others can now team up with them. And number three, this team can easily sustain the narrative. Sifuna's mouth is running like Kipchoge Keino. Now you add to Rigathi Gachagua with his communications skills, dangerous. You add Babu Owino to that, and then you add a people united. And then they come up with this narrative which they've been pushing, that Ruto must go, or one term. They can sustain that narrative. In fact, historically, what they are planning to do is to use the Moi must go moment. That was 202 to defeat Ruto. Of course, we know Ruto is not Moi, but this team has the potential of sustaining that narrative. So it's going to depend on whether they are also going to hold together. And that's why I keep on insisting that if there's one thing William Ruto will do, is going to ensure that the opposition is divided. In fact, I was telling someone, and this is what I believe, that Sifuna was removed from ODM party. And emotionally, his supporters were very angry. And they are pushing him. And today I saw photos of branded t-shirts, Mimindi of Sifuna. I was telling someone that those could be the work of NIS. And I want to challenge you to go to Linjiru and look for an interview he conducted where he explained how Moi used them to convince Matiba to run. Sifuna is going to be convinced to run. And the moment he's going to be convinced to run, then we are going to have Kalonzo, we are going to have Sifuna, we are going to have Ruto. Ruto is going to win. But if he can read through, then he'll be safe. Number 4 is the campaign funding. If Sifuna joins Kalonzo, very many people will see the ticket as viable. And as long as the ticket is viable, people can actually put their money in that ticket. You can't put your money in a ticket which you know is going nowhere. For example, Maraga is running for the presidency. Can you put your money on that ticket of Maraga? Never. He cannot win. But he's going to run. But if Kalonzo agrees with Sifuna, then there's a possibility. So you can put your money there. So they'll be able to raise a lot of money for the campaigns, because 2027 politics is going to be the most expensive election. And lastly, there is also the Nairobi politics. I don't know how William Ruto and ODM are going to navigate the Nairobi equation. I don't know. Because historically, since Kibaki time, Nairobi has always been Kikuyus and Western Alliance. And now we are in a situation where the Kikuyus and the Kambas, who are probably the majority, are on one side. Right? Now we have Sifuna, Babu, and Rengo also now competing for the support of the other ODM. What's going to happen is that they're going to split it and bring it to Kalonzo. So Kalonzo's ticket has the potential of overrunning William Ruto and the brigades in Nairobi. And that's something which is really, really worrying William Ruto. I don't know, but I know for sure that Nairobi politics is a serious political headache. And as a bonus, politics is also a perceptional game. If the SG of ODM leaves ODM and teams up with Kalonzo Musyoka, with Uhuru Kenyatta, with Rigathi Gachagua, perceptionally, that's a very strong ticket. Perceptionally. And because that's a very strong ticket, people will be persuaded now that there's a possibility they can win. And you know, victory has many fathers. Many people would want now to join it. Because normally, if you don't see potential in any ticket, what do? You don't even bother. I don't know what you think. But for me, this ticket of Kalonzo and Sifuna is William Ruto's biggest political nightmare. Because if Ruto can find a way of stopping it, I don't see how he will be defeated. But of course, politics is also dynamic. You can't rule out the possibility that one day you'll just wake up, as usual, you find Rigathi Gachagua working with Ruto to defeat Kalonzo in 2027. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Sometimes when I joke like that, yeah, those are not jokes. Some of you really abuse me. Yeah? But the good thing, I'm normally vindicated. Vindicated. I said Rigathi was going to be impeached. He was impeached. When I stated that 6 months before the plan, you guys really abused me. Some of you even unsubscribed. I stated here that ODM was going to remove Sifuna on Wednesday because I got that intelligence. You guys wanted me to talk about. There's no way ODM could remove Sifuna. Mine is just to analyze. I just tell you, no, this is going to happen. Just like I'm telling you, this ticket is going to happen. But Ruto is also working around the clock to ensure Sifuna becomes the presidential candidate. Sifuna is going to be made to be big. And it's being made to be big. Yeah, it's going to be big. I don't know whether to do, I want to do that video, but nikasema I want my peace. I want my peace. But Sifuna is going to be made to be big. Like Matiba was made to be big. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.